Hi, this is Mark Carrington from mybitcoinprofits.com. It is March the 8th. You remember last week we talked about Bitcoin against the US dollar and the possibility of entering a trade on the retest after price had broken out of the triangle. And given that I was a few days late, because I was up in the mountains, I'd missed the retest directly off the uptrend line, but I'd suggested we could actually have a look at the 4-hourly chart and look for entry points on the 4-hourly chart. So let's just step to the charts, and the chart in front of you is the Bitcoin on the daily, and it's pretty much the state it was in when I last talked. We had the breakout of from this trend line. I'll just draw those in for us quickly. We'd broken out, we'd come back, and then we would be looking at doing the retest. And I'd drawn in the short-term trend line on the 4-hourly chart to identify opportunities as the price cycled on the 4-hourly chart. Let's just step across to the 4-hourly chart and let's just see what actually happened, to see whether in fact there was a trade possibility. So here we have this is the trend line that I'd drawn in, and we were looking for the cycles along here. And pretty well we were waiting for a retest down to this trend line, a ring low. So let's clear some of this baggage off there. We're looking for a ring low and an entry above here, and the stop loss would have been here. So as it happens, we did not get an entry because the price has fallen away from that level. And you will recall that I talked about on the daily my concerns about some of the resistance that's in the way. So if we get our chart back into form here, my concerns were we needed to pass that level, and we needed to pass that level, and we did not even get to this first level. So the price is uncomfortable reaching these levels and has now fallen away. So now the question then is well, what's actually going on here? And to answer that, I think we need to step right the way back to the basics and talk about the fundamentals. That one of the reasons I'm really interested in Bitcoin. And to do this, I'm going to step back to the weekly. This chart's going to start looking a bit messy because it's got all these lines on. But that's fine. I'll just move that out of the way. And I just want to have a look at what really attracted me. We'll look at it. We'll look at this chart first of all. Is what attracted me about Bitcoin during 2015. So if we go to the start of the year, so this is that's the first week. So this here is the 29th. Where my cursor is, I'm going to draw an arrow from there so you'll see it very easily. On the 29th of December, the price went sideways for ages, and then it rocked up and it finished. There's the 28th of December, is this bar here, That's the 28th of December, and there's the close. And if I then contrast that with the S&P 500 as an indicator of the broad stock markets. So let's just I'll pull that chart up. So we'll see here, that's 2015. Let's draw that same arrow in. So the first day of trading was the close of the year was this one here, 22nd of December. That's the close of trading there, 29th of December. And we finished, where did we finish? We finished there. So what I'll do now, so we could see during the year, is we actually had a broadly lower market, but not by a lot. And I'm going to put the Bitcoin chart on there, so just to remind us what I've just drawn on the previous chart. So I'm going to draw exactly the same arrow. So that is the close there. That's the 5th of January. That's the close there, 29th of December, and we finished up here. That's the 21st. We finished up here. So Bitcoin during 2015 went up, appreciated quite attractively, and that was what compelled me to be interested in investing in Bitcoin. Now, if we have a look at 2016 performance, the chart looks remarkably similar. We're going to have more arrows on here than an Indian convention, but we started from here. This is Bitcoin, it's gone down. This is the S&P 500, it's gone down. S&P 500's gone up, Bitcoin's gone up, and now Bitcoin is actually reversed. So there's something happened here in Bitcoin which has not happened here. And so for the first part is that 2016 was starting to look as if Bitcoin was acting in the same way. This is almost identical, and yet this last price action is different. So maybe I'll have to leave my thesis as being is that Bitcoin is not directly correlated with market performance, but it is influenced by market performance. And my instinct is what's happening here is that this run up that we have here in the S&P 500 from here has some components in it that are quite surprising, and certainly components that the market was not expecting, and I'll demonstrate them. I'm going to pull on a chart that we were not expecting this to happen. This data here is the chart we're now looking at is an exchange traded fund that tracks base metals, and we'll see over a period of time. So over, I'll just squeeze this chart in, we'll see that this thing has just been driving downwards. So we can see here, we can see from the trend line that it's just been driving downwards. And then it has turned up at the bottom here. And we actually see exactly the same in energy prices, this exchange traded fund that covers energy prices, oil and natural gas. And we've seen this thing run down really hard, and then turn up. The market was not expecting this level of turn up. And my hypothesis is what's happened with this Bitcoin is that a number of participants in the market have seen this turn. And I'm going to put one more on, because we've seen this also in gold. Gold is even more marked. This is an index of gold miners. This big strong jump up here. These are junior gold miners. Strong jump up here from this long period of decline and then flattening. So my hypothesis is that one of the factors that is driving this decline in the Bitcoin price is that participants in Bitcoin have seen this turn, which is an unexpected turn, and have elected to switch out of Bitcoin. So in these last couple of weeks, this is still a weekly chart, but it stands out more firmly on the daily chart, and have now switched into those alternate investment avenues: gold, base metals, miners, and energy, and also just the US and the European stock markets. And Japanese stock markets, Chinese stock markets have all shown the same increase. Now the last step in doing this comparison is just to have a look and see what's actually happened to the dollar. So on the US dollar, I'm going to go back to a weekly chart. I'll make sure I've got the whole of 2015 on the chart. And basically from the start of 2015, yes, the US dollar has gone up, but for a large period of the year, basically since that's March. The closing price, or the opening price at the start of March, is pretty well exactly where we are now 1 year later. So the dollar has hardly moved in the whole of that 12-month period. Right, so that's enough of the step back. I'm not really sure that I know what to make of all of that. Is that to what extent is Bitcoin behaving in a risk-on way, and to what extent is it actually behaving somewhat independently? But let's go back to the charts and let's work out what it is we can do from a trading point of view, and let's see what's actually where the opportunities lie and how I would be looking at this. Now, clearly the first thing to do is we need to start getting rid of some of these lines. This downtrend line here is no longer needed. This short-term uptrend line is no longer needed. This trend line here is probably still of some relevance, because we've not broken below that one. And this one here, which came off the weekly chart, I'm going to just extend that one. So we'll just see that where it goes. And we'll go back to the daily chart. So the one that we're really interested in here is that we thought we had broken this downtrend line here, this one here. We thought we'd broken this one. And given that we have a lower high here compared to this one and compared to this one, that tells me that that downtrend line is still in some shape of respect. So what we've got to do, and we're going to take that one out because that's the 4-hour one. So what we've got to do is we've got to look and say, well, maybe that's where our trend line is. So the trading challenge now is what is next. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put on here a Fibonacci line. I'm going to go from this low, so from this cycle here, I'm going to go up to that high there, and to see where we're turning on this one here. And we've turned on the 786. And I'm also going to put one here. Now this is going to start looking a bit. No, I'm not going to put one there. I'm actually not going to do that. This is the main cycle from the uptrend up to the top, the pullback, and we're at a 786. So in theory, we could argue for running a trade right here. So we could argue for running a trade here because we like this Fibonacci, this 786 level. What we also have is the right form of price action. We have this bar here. It's done this. The next bar is open somewhere near there, and it's made it's tested this low level, which happens to be an important Fibonacci level based on this up run, and it has then opened somewhere around here, and it has run up like this, and it's not quite reached as high as that. I'd be a little more comfortable if it had reached as high as that previous bar, and then the bar after this has done this. So we now have clearly a ring low formation. So there is the possibility of entering a trade. And so the trade entry point would have been here, but we could actually enter above the current bar. Some people like doing a 2-bar confirmation. We could enter above here. Stop loss would be here. So our trade size will be, let's just get rid of these arrows here, and I'm going to change. I'm going to now just draw in our trade size. So our stop loss was here. Our entry is above this bar here. And I will then copy this arrow, line it up, and we're looking for a trade to go here. So that's where we would need our target to be. Now the problem with the target over there is that we have some resistance in the way. The first piece of resistance we have in the way is this downtrend line. So we have this downtrend line. The second piece of resistance we have in the way is we've got this high here and we've got this high here. So the trade is going to get uncomfortable. So from my point of view, price action looks fine, Fibonacci level looks fine. Let's just check on our indicators, and our indicators, our momentum indicator. I'll just put a MACD on here and we'll just see what MACD is doing. And MACD it's above 0, which is encouraging. Signal line is flattening. It is not yet turned. So there's a chance that, and it is narrowing here, the gap is narrowing, so there's the chance that it's going to go this way. So the MACD is somewhat supportive. My problem is dealing with this resistance. So my preferred approach is going to be to not trade. When will I trade? Well, having watched a couple of these videos now, you can see what's happening is that we are in a triangle. We've got a triangle running this way and we've got a triangle running this way. So I'm going to be waiting for price to do this, or to break down here and to go that way. So that's where my 2 trade idea opportunities would be, and I will paint them on with 2 arrows. 1 arrow would be a trade here, and I'll paint these ones on because these one then will stay the chart, or I'm waiting for it to break down below here, and I think I'd like it to go underneath the weekly chart, and then I'll be trading. So my trade ideas would be one there and the other one would be here. So there's my review on the market for Bitcoin, and waiting for this period of consolidation to be completed. It's been a frustrating period, but for me it's been no problem because I've not been actively trading it. I am invested long in it, but I'm happy with that because we're still running on the very long-term uptrend line, and so my long side is fine, and my entry points on the long side here were at 319, I think, is where I started. So I have totally comfortable, given that I've started over here and the price is up there. So from a long point of view, I'm still leaning that way rather than trading short. So that's the review. Happy Bitcoining and happy trading.